Oh, Jane Austen wrecked my life.
Yeah, I'm just requesting a link from Ian because then I can go see this again.
Mission Impossible 8, The Final Reckoning movie review. This is going to be spoiler free, but I think that this is a bad film. However, I think this bad film, and I love the franchise, okay? 1 through 6, I love. Even the second one. I don't know why on social media everybody's like, oh, well, the second one. Oh, jeez. Oh, God, shut up. The second one is dope, okay? It's John Woo. Maybe there's too much slow motion, perhaps. But other than that, it's operatic, it's sensual. Tom Cruise and the main female lead, was it Thandie Newton from Westworld? Okay, they have genuine chemistry. I loved the main villain in that film. I loved the 101 between Ethan and that guy on the beach. They're riding the motorcycles, they leap off and collide and fall into the beach and fight. And the moment where Luther is over here and Ethan kicks the gun and the gun just goes whoop, from the sand. And like, come on, what are you talking about? The opening minutes, okay? The rock climbing, shut up. The score, what are you talking about? Mission Impossible 2 is fantastic. But anyway, 1 through 6, I love. The only ones, and I've been watching these Mission Impossible films since I've been a kid, okay? I love Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is the man. But 1 through 6 is the stuff of legend. And first off, Fallout is the best one. I think it's the only one I've given a 10 out of 10 to. It's rather fantastic, especially the score. These, the last 2 films, Dead Reckoning, Final Reckoning, are awful, okay? For me, Dead Reckoning, definitive score, because on my rating scale, a 7 out of 10 is where a movie is good or decent or okay, mostly good. 7 out of 10. Because I think good to masterful films should have a smaller window. So 7 out of 10 is good on my scale. Now, Dead Reckoning, 5 out of 10. Final Reckoning, 6 out of 10. First off, the Final Reckoning is way too long. Dead Reckoning, too much unconvincing CGI. Flimsy use of Ethan Hunt's plot armor, for sure. Especially when he parachutes accidentally into that train. What? Was this suddenly Looney Tunes? The beginning is dull, and the action is done way better in previous entries. Why did Ethan care so much for Grace? Okay, the amount of times that she left Ethan in an inconvenient situation, or nearly dead, or caught, or nearly dead. Okay, when he's saving her on those falling train carts or whatever, that train that's fallen off that cliff at the end of Dead Reckoning. It's like there's so much obvious CGI similar to the cliff jump. I mean, yeah, the cliff jump is great, but we've already heard about it and seen it 17 plus times over before we saw the movie. Okay, and it doesn't help that they use some kind of CGI underneath what Ethan Hunt is, driving his motorcycle off of when he goes off the ramp and he goes off the cliff. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, Jesus Christ. Jesus, no. I knew it. They should have stopped with Fallout. I knew it. As soon as they said they were doing 2 more, I was like my brother in Christ, this man's 70s, his 80s are coming up. What are we doing here? Never mind, we've exhausted the story probably movies ago. Jesus Christ, I can't talk spoilers yet. So there's a lot more I want to say, but I'm gonna hold back. But anyways, weren't we talking about Dead Reckoning? Dead Reckoning. It's just a bad film. And then the final one, I give it a 6 out of 10. It's a bad film. Listen, there's 2 action sequences, long ones. There's 2 action sequences in Final Reckoning that are amongst some of the greatest stunt work and greatest action sequences ever portrayed. Okay, the moment underwater and the moment with the yellow plane and the red plane. I mean, when I saw these moments in the trailer, I was like, oh, that's kind of neat, you know. I guess we'll breeze by and get on to something. No! Those are the 2 sequences I'm talking about. And for the love of God, if that sounds like a spoiler, I don't think you quite understand. That plane sequence and that sequence of him underwater, they are so long. And that alone took me off guard. And they're so complicated and visually spectacular and just gobsmacking and just thrilling. And it changed my breathing and the way that I sat in my chair. It's just astounding work. It is honestly probably the closest we've got to Buster Keaton. It is just a truly astonishing, jaw-dropping work. To know that so much of what you're seeing is being shot practically, it's just unbelievable. You can tell when he was underwater. My favorite one. When it clicked. I mean, there's a moment where something's being turned and the aspect ratio starts to rise, and it stays that way with the underwater sequence. Listen, this may be a bad film because everything else outside those 2 action sequences, I think, is very poorly done, especially from an emotional standpoint. I mean, the opening to this film with the recap, and then we finally get to the mission briefing, and it's like, you know, this will self-destruct in 7 seconds. Or whatever. It's like, by the time we get to that point, whole minutes of exposition has gone by, and there's way too little action, too much talking. These are action films. These are action films, okay? This isn't Christopher Nolan. These are action films. It should be this much action, this much talking and story time and character study. Like, what? And the characters that we love in this film, it's like, it's good to see you, but like, we could have parted ways movies ago. I want to go so much deeper, but I almost forgot we can't talk about spoilers yet, so I should probably leave. But yeah, the last 2 movies are terrible. the big event stunts are well, I don't know what people are talking about with Dead Reckoning. I thought that Dead Reckoning was quite bad. I enjoyed Final Reckoning more, but just marginally. Yeah, I want to say more, but this would involve spoilers. But yeah, again, the 2 action sequences I'm talking about, that's worth the price of admission alone. But the story, the 2 main villains, one you recognize, the other is the entity AI. Oh, the execution is so bad. But and then Grace is back again. It's like, why do you want me to care about Grace so badly? I don't care about Grace. I don't care about a lot of these emerging new characters in this final one. By the way, I do think this will be the final film.